seeking help because he needed psychiatric help. That's when they then put him into Broadmoor Mental Hospital. But in 1977, just a few years later, he and another inmate called David Cheeseman took another prisoner hostage, or another patient, because they weren't referred to as prisoners when they were inside a hospital. So they took another patient hostage inside the pad. So this other patient was another bacon called David Francis, who was in for those type of offences. They took a dislike to him, and it did go on to say, and I've done a bit of research into this, that there was a homophobic attack against one of their friends inside the hospital, and they didn't like what Francis had done. So him and Cheeseman took him into the pad, took him hostage, tortured him for 9 hours, and brutally murdered him inside the hospital. But David Cheeseman himself was actually a bacon, so I'm surprised Maudsley became friends with him, unless he didn't know his background. He might have said he was in for something else, because I'm assuming if he knew what he was in for, he probably would have took his life in that cell as well. But because he was in a hospital and he was deemed unwell, he actually got a manslaughter for that murder. But instead of keeping him in the hospital, where you would think if he's been deemed unfit and he's been given, or he's been charged with manslaughter instead of murder, you would have thought they would have kept him in a hospital to give him further help. But they actually sent him to HMP Wakefield, where it's full of beasts.